Where to start? It's a really good team win for a lot of reasons. We've talked a lot lately internally about the first group taking pride in setting the tone, the tempo, the energy, and I think they did that really well tonight. We've also talked a lot about being able to recenter ourselves in a game. And in the third quarter, the Knicks went on a 17-0 run, and then we countered that with about 4-ish minutes left in the third. We started our own 25-9 run to kind of regain control of the game. That's not easy to do. It's something that we've been talking a lot about with the team, that we expect the other team to make a run. We expect there to be hard moments in any game in the season, and we have to find ways to dig out of those moments as a group. There were a bunch of individuals that played well tonight. It was obviously great to have Walker back. Our rim protection tonight was way better. Walker is a part of that. His teammates are also a part of that. They did a better job executing the scheme. But for the Knicks to have 42 points in the paint, obviously set the tone for our defense. And then offensively, you know, any night that you can have 6 guys in double figures, our starters played very well. I do want to highlight Johnny Juzang, though. Johnny has put in a ton of work over the last 2+ years. He was on a two-way for 2 seasons with us. He has changed his style of play from how he played in college, and that is really, really difficult to do. To have the wherewithal as a player to get to the NBA playing a certain way, and then while you're in the beginning stages of your career, instead of sort of saying, no, this is who I am, and trying to sort of stay on the same track, he recognized what he needed to do to stay in the league and make a name for himself and to earn a full-time contract, and he did that. Johnny's an amazing kid. He's really competitive, and he's worked really, really hard on his game, and it's always great to see nights like tonight where in, you know, under 20 minutes he can have the impact that he had. I mean, his opportunity over the last 2 years hasn't been that much with us. Even in the beginning stages of this season, he's been very in and out. But he has stayed ready, and Johnny deserves all the credit for his approach, and really happy for him. Colin had a great game tonight. John Collins had a great game tonight. Lowry had a great game tonight. It's fun to see multiple guys play well and not have the game be about one person. We could go down the list and we could talk about everybody who played in the game, and they each had things that they did to contribute to winning. So it's a really good team win after a couple of tough ones on the road trip, and always good to win in front of our home crowd for sure.
You've had a few games, like you said, where the other team had made big runs and you weren't able to come back from it. What's the differentiating factor in that moment when you switch over? Like, what's the difference when the team is actually able to move on from that moment?
Yeah, it's really about not worrying about so much why they went on a run. Sometimes in those moments, everybody can get a little bit defensive. No, he should have done this, or I threw it there because I thought he was there. It's like, it doesn't matter. We had a turnover. It's like, whatever the reason isn't as important as, like, we know what we want to do and how we want to play. So, like, let's rinse that and just focus on the next possession, executing it the way we've practiced it thousands of times. I think when you get into, like, the game of, like, whose fault was it, it doesn't matter. And I think the team did a good job of just kind of, like, taking a deep breath and saying, like, okay, look, let's just go out right now and get back to the very foundation of how we want to play on both sides of the ball. Like, let's keep our defense simple on this next possession and be really aggressive. And then offensively, let's try to run something that we all know really well. It's not the time to get tricky or cute. It's like, let's go back to throwing our fastball for a little bit. Thought the team did a great job.
How much and in what ways does Walker Kessler playing for you guys change how you play?
I think there's different moments defensively where we don't have to help as much, so we're in rotations a little bit less. Offensively tonight, he gives us a lob threat at the rim when teams help off the 5. It's something we've been working on for, my entire time here, of trying to see that pass. It's almost like shooting a floater. It actually is shooting a floater. It's the same timing, the same tempo, but you're just intentionally missing towards your teammate. And I think that tonight was a good example. To get a couple of those, it makes the other team's defense overreact to the roll. If you don't throw those passes, whether he's a roller or whether he's already in the dunker, if you don't throw a couple of them, that weak side stops cheating in as much. When you get a few, now they're really overhelping, and now the corner is even more open. So, Walker is a really impactful player for us. It's not just about physical stats. It doesn't have to be 40 points and 25 rebounds. Like, the way that he occupies space, the shots that he deters on defense, even though there are some that he doesn't necessarily block. I know Walker wants to block every shot, but the ones that he alters are just as important.
Has Walker's passing evolved?
Yeah, we've put him in that spot a little bit more each year, especially when you're playing with a couple of our pick and roll ball. JC has been trapped a little bit more this year, and I think Walker getting the ball in that pocket and making passes is big. We also have installed a few things where he catches it on the elbow, and it's his opportunity to make some reads, and he's still working on those things. I think it's fun for him. I think it's an evolution in his game. Like I've said to you a lot, or you guys a lot, it's about getting the dosage right. Like, we don't want to overly focus on that every game, but if we can get him 4 or 5 opportunities every night to do it, I think it helps build the confidence in it for him. We'll keep on it.
Do you seem to get washed out plays the way he used to? Walker? Is that just his weight? Is it intensity? I mean, what's
a lot of it is truly physical strength. He doesn't weigh that much more. I think he weighs like 8 pounds more than he did last year, which on that frame is not a massive amount, but he is way stronger. So I do think that when it comes down to it, that's the biggest differentiator. I do think that Walker is playing really hard, which also helps, but the work he did on his body this summer really stands out.
Do you like afternoon starts?
Huge fan.
Why is that?
I will get to go to bed at a human hour.
So John's another double-double, 20 points for into again. He's near or above a lot of his career highs this year. What's been the difference this year for him?
I think that John has had a better understanding of how he fits with our group. I think I have a better understanding of how to utilize John. There's a bunch of things that John can do on the offensive side of the ball, and I think last year I didn't help John very much. I think I kind of had him in too many different places doing too many different things. We've tried to tighten his focus on the offensive side to really try to emphasize his strengths. I also think that when it comes down to it, John is one of the guys on our team that I know I can count on every night to play really, really hard. It's not just about where he gets the ball. It's offensive rebounds, tip-ins, hustling for loose balls. those plays are huge. So it's a combination of a bunch of things. You know, last year I think, and rightfully so, was tough for John. You know, you're in a new place, new team, new coach, and it took me a little bit to figure out exactly how to best utilize him. And John's been incredibly gracious going through that. You know, he and I have had a lot of conversations about, you know, stick with me. Like, I'm thinking about you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to figure out how best to use you with our group. And John and his demeanor, the way he is with his teammates every day is, you know, truly all I could ask for.
Thanks.